Welcome to another episode of the Dusty Thunder Podcast. We have with us for the third time, Candy Thunder.
Third time.
Third time's a charm here. Candy Thunder's back with us.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm dandy, Tater. How are you? Actually, I'm lying. My brain is fried. My brain is fried as evidenced by my behavior for the past 24 hours.
I have the best story. And it happened last night, so it's fresh and I'm excited to share. It was so great.
Go ahead. I know what you're going to say.
So, Dusty, like earlier in the week, said he wanted to stay home with Navy on Thursday. So he stayed home with her yesterday. It's very out of his routine. And him and Navy are both like routine people. Can't break the routine.
Creatures of habit.
Yes. It means something to them to like follow their lines. So anyways, he stayed home. They had a wonderful day, but I feel like it kind of like broke your focus, like your drive for the week. Like it threw it all out of spiral. Something, I don't know. One of those sayings.
Out of spiral.
You know what I mean? Okay. Anyways, so I got dinner ready, and he was going to do Navy's bath, and he's in there and the water's been running for a long time. And I go in there and he's like, we have no hot water. And I'm like, well, I mean, I just used it to get, stuff ready for dinner. So I think we have hot water. And he's like, it's not working. So then he's like, well, how much did you use to wash dishes? And I'm like, not enough to affect a bath. And I walk back out and I walk back in and I'm like, babe, you only have the cold water on, not the hot water. There's no hot water turned on.
And I just hung my head in shame. Here's the deal, though. I'm getting her bath ready and I'm mentally just fried. And it wasn't even like a hard day. I don't know why I was fried, but I was fried.
To me, it was because you broke routine. Like
maybe.
You guys, and you and Navy are both like she has that trait for sure.
Yeah, maybe. I just feel like, well, I also made the decision to request to stay home with her Thursday.
Oh, that's true.
Because I felt like I was mentally fried and needed a day. I don't know that day helped at all.
Staying home with Navy does not.
It's not a vacation from anything at all.
No, it's almost harder.
I think it is. I think it really is because
busier.
You have to be. You are just all the time, just boom, 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 boom. There's no respite in there at all. But I sat there before starting the bath and legitimately looked at the faucet and looked at the handles and was like, I don't know which one's which. Like, I think it's this one. That one makes sense because I think that's hot, like on the sink, but they're backward for the tub for whatever reason.
They're not. They're the same, but they're backwards. When you sit on the side of the tub, they are backwards at the angle that we have to turn on the tub. But if you think about that way, they do match the actual faucets.
There are those things that you just take for granted in life and like you do a million times. And then one time you look at it and you're like, I don't know what the hell to do.
I know this.
That's where I was.
That's like when I called it COVID brain, but I think it might just be toddler parent brain, but
maybe.
But when I got to a gas pump, I got out of my car and I just looked at it and I was like, I didn't know what to do first or like what. I didn't even have my gas cap like open to put gas in my car. I was just like, what do I do? Like what buttons do I push? How do I go from here? I completely understand it.
And that's not because I'm the only one who fills up her car with gas because she does it more than I do. It's I think pre-Navy, I probably would fill it up for you a lot more often, but now it's like we're just so busy that it's like you're on your own.
And now I'm like, how far can I get on 1 mile till E? Let's test this.
You're like Kramer.
I don't know what that means.
Oh man, on Seinfeld they have that episode where they're driving on E for like it's like the whole last part of the episode. They're just seeing how far they can go on E. It's like it's George and Kramer.
I remember Seinfeld because I watched it when I was so young, but I haven't ever rewatched it. But I think that we should probably do that.
We should.
It's such a funny show.
It is there are so many shows out there though. It's like if we made a list of all the shows we wanted to watch, I don't feel like it would be near the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's too many.
Yeah. I think our rewatch, that's a hard word to say for me with my
Rewatch.
R's. I have a thing with R's. Okay.
Lambert's is home of the what?
Throwed rolls. I have to get really in there.
She's trying to avoid saying throwed rose.
Yeah. Or railroad.
Railroad.
Row. I have an issue with those. They're hard. My tongue doesn't work.
It's endearing.
I've lost my train of thought. Just trying to say ours correctly, and I don't know what I was going to say.
I don't know what you were saying either.
I don't know.
So slight segue.
Okay.
Having Candy Thunder here is a special treat.
Yeah, there were, people that reached out to us and asked that I not do the show with you because I was your wife and because we were too coupley. Because we were married and that you weren't as fun when you did the show with me because we talked about tougher subjects. And that was hard for me to hear.
Yeah.
It hurt me. The first one was like, okay, that's one person's opinion. And then there were multiple people that spoke up and said, I don't watch the ones with Candy Thunder because I don't like XYZ and whatever. And it did suck at first. Like I was like, oh, that burns, that hurts. There could be worse things that people say about you. And I always the thing that I think it took a couple months for me to be like, I feel comfortable again because I don't like to put myself out there. And so for someone to say that I didn't like it. But I think the saying is you can be the juiciest peach and there's still people that don't like peaches.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And so Beer Today and I got into a discussion last night about this, actually, not that specifically about something different, because his podcast just came out. And I think he might have had a little bit of similar feedback. And
really?
Yeah. And and I told him that, I'll go through periods. And this last week has been one of those periods where I will intentionally not spend time looking at comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think you sometimes for your mental health have to check out of that for a little bit. And by far, there's so much more positivity and good comments going on than negative ones. But as a human, you can't help but let those negative ones stick and hang on to you longer. Yeah. And I told him, I was like, this past week, I've been just disengaged from it because I'm just in a place where I can't let them poison my day.
Right.
I can't let those few negative comments poison my day. And then this morning, as I was in the office and I was thinking about our podcast and thinking about, the couple of comments that had felt like they had poisoned my day or whatever it was, this thought hit me. This thought hit me where I was like, that one comment is like a single grain of sand on a beach with with so many more positive comments there, but I was letting that one grain of sand infect me and poison my day and put me in a negative headspace. And I'm like, it's horseshit. And you know what? Yes. Sometimes we have to disengage and not intentionally not let those things poison our day. I don't think my disengaging from comments for a week, and I'll still go through and like some, but I don't spend as much time dwelling in them or paying close attention and letting those negative ones really get to me because I chose not to. Right. It's like I choose not to let those things affect me right now. And sometimes that means ignoring them. I
intentionally, and we kind of adopted this, but we don't post on Friday and Saturday. Right. Because we need those days.
On TikTok. We still do on
YouTube.
YouTube.
And YouTube is scheduled out. Right. We do not schedule out on TikTok. We manually post on TikTok. We just prefer to do it that way. But knowing that we don't need to engage on Friday and Saturday for our mental health, I think it's a big thing for us because it allows us, we're off with our family. The agency is closed. It just gives us that time. And we do post back on Sunday, but it's just a lot sometimes, I think.
It is. And again, it's, probably 95% of it is positive, but it's that 5%.
It's even, almost like 98, 99% is positive.
So that 1 to 2% is just because we're human. It's sometimes enough to just poison your mind.
It's I see it on every creator and everyone's excuses. Well, you put yourself out there. Right. If you're putting yourself out there on the internet, you are inviting public opinion. And that's true, but I don't think everyone has to be. Sometimes people are assholes just to be assholes just to say something shitty.
Yeah. Well, and when people make negative comments, this is something else that Beer Today and I messaged about yesterday. I was like, I don't know what people are thinking whenever they make those comments. And I think the ultimate deduction from that is that they aren't thinking. They don't think about, the emotional impact that it's going to have on another human being. They don't think about what they're really saying. They're just throwing their 2 cents in and just going on about their merry way. And that's fine. It's absolutely fine. And it is up to us to find a way to balance and to find a way to guard ourselves from having it affect our days. And we're finding that we encourage healthy disagreement, right? It's and whenever I see someone in comments that is almost upset that they're disagreeing with me or disappointed or like they're struggling with the fact that they're disagreeing with me, I feel like I have to clarify whenever that happens and be like, no. Like I don't apologize for that. That's a good thing. We are unique individuals. We each had a different path lead us to this moment in life. And how we see things is based on the filter that we developed, based on all those experiences that we had. No 2 filters are going to be the same.
Yeah,
she and I disagree all the time.
We're going to put that whole line on a shirt, and it's going to be like, don't be upset if you disagree.
Yeah.
We all have a filter. I don't remember what else you said.
I don't either.
But that whole line is just going to be written in a wall of text on a shirt. Yes. I do have a line, and it's for lives. And we have basically the same group of people that jump in on lives. Some are subscribers, some are not. But normally there's like this core group of people that jump in, and that we engage with. But sometimes we get in front of more people and someone will jump on and be like, you shouldn't be talking about that. Talk about something that matters, or next story. And I'm like, he is not a dancing monkey up here for your, he's not up here with like the little monkey with the symbol thing, like from Toy Story. No, I'm like, you gotta stop. Like, this is his show. He's running it. And we'd love for everyone to be a part of it, but
it is not one of those NPC lives where I react to every thank you for the
I'm like, I feel like it's more a show.
No, it is not like that.
I want to see you do that,
though. No, abso-freaking-lutely not. Every time I come upon one of those, and you know what, more power to them for making that their shtick and doing it, but I'm like, every time I see one of those, I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I don't either. But it works. And we've talked about what people see in that, and I think it's control. People have the ability to manipulate another human being by doing something on their end and having control over them, and it works. And more power to them for doing it. But
is that why the going live while sleeping works?
Same
because
thing.
they have the control over waking them up.
Another person. Yeah,
that's insane,
isn't it?
To think about. Interesting.
Yeah. It's wild.
There's some people out there that got some stuff.
They got some stuff.
Yeah. They got some stuff going on.
They got some stuff going on, tell you what. Anyway, that's it's wild. It's wild. We have some cool stories for you today. Our first one is a little Halloweeny.
Yeah, it's a follower submission.
Do you want to go ahead and get into it?
I think we should.
I think we should too. Okay, this is a follower submission, and it is titled "The Ghostly Encounter." Should I read this in a spooky voice?
No, I think you should read this in your dusty voice.
In my dusty voice?
Yes.
Okay. I, 30s female, was kind of a rotten child, not in a diagnosed behavioral plot.
We're starting off strong.
We are. Not in a diagnosed behavioral problems kind of a way, but in a middle child who annoyed my brother, now 30s male, and sister, now 40s female, because I like to play jokes and just be a complete nuisance kind of way. I've paid for it multiple times over with my kids because they are just like me. For example, I would stay in the bathroom too long even though I knew someone needed to use it in a one-bathroom house. I would hide things I knew they were looking for just to be a pest. If it was off limits, it was my next mission. I was the epitome of a shithead. Thankfully, I grew out of it and now have good relationships with both of my siblings. This story is going to focus on one specific instance, the time I felt it was appropriate to pretend to be a ghost and scare my brother. I was 12 years old at the time and my brother was 9. Why I thought it would be a good idea to pretend to be a ghost and scare my brother, I have no idea. But as I said before, I was a shithead. We were army brats, and once my dad officially retired, we settled into our home. The house we lived in growing up had a walkout basement, so there was one room that was basically underground and had no windows. We all got to take turns having this room. Not sure why we all wanted that room, but we did. It was my brother's turn to be in the room with no windows, and I was in the room adjacent to him. I knew it would be pitch black in his room, so I got to work on my ridiculous idea. I was going to scare the crap out of my brother. He was younger than me and had to go to bed earlier, so once I knew he was asleep, I grabbed a white sheet and draped it over my body. I went into his room, which was pitch black, and I began my ghost-like encounter. I kind of thumped the end of his bed to stir him awake, always moving in a ghost-like way. Do we really know how ghosts move? And I then kind of grazed where his feet were to make sure he knew someone or something was there. He was more alert by this point and asked if it was me, but I didn't say a word, just continued with my stupid movements under the white sheet. Then he started yelling for our mom and seemed worried, but didn't move. I touched his feet again and made odd noises, then after a minute, just left. About 5 minutes after I left his room, I heard him run out and start yelling for our parents. He was terrified. He repeated his encounter to my parents and told them that he thought there was a ghost in our house. My parents comforted him, told him that he must have been dreaming and that it wasn't real, and got him back to bed. I listened to him tell the story over and over again for the next few weeks, but never said a word, and I just pretended to believe him. He truly believed this was real. This went on for over 20 years. This was his spiritual encounter, and he believes it happened to him. Who was I to take that away? Well, remember when I said I was a shithead? Maybe I didn't outgrow it, because recently he was telling the story about his ghostly encounter, and I could tell from the way he spoke that he still 100% believed it. Why in this moment I decided to come clean, I don't know, but I told him the truth. It was me. I dressed up in a white sheet and pretended to be a ghost. His mouth dropped open at first. He refused to believe me. So I told him everything I did, and we both agreed that I was an asshole, but that I had pulled off the best prank in the history of our family. Just call me Prank Sinatra, I guess. And yes, now we laugh about this story. Seriously thankful our family has a sense of humor, because they would be no contact with me for sure. I honestly have no idea why I decided to do this to my brother. I have no idea why I decided it was a good idea to be a shithead to my family, maybe because I was a kid, but I do know that I grew up and realized how big of an asshole I was and decided to change. So Dusty, this story is an I am the asshole story. I know I am the asshole, but I thought you would enjoy it. This is fantastic. So I have a question. What were the ghostly noises that you made like?
Yes.
Candy Thunder is the asshole in the story.
Yes, this is my story.
This is Candy Thunder.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
I'm the ghost. It's me. I want to know what the noises were like.
I don't even remember.
Like Hayden Thunder's like woo. I was like woo.
I think it was more like like why? In my head, I'm like, why? Like, why did I put time and effort into doing these things when I was a kid? I don't know, but I do know. I mean, you've been in that room. That room is, if you shut the door and turn off the lights, there is no pitch light. Black, it is pitch black. There is
like sensory deprivation chamber.
It's 100%. So it was his turn to be in that room. And maybe I was pissed because it was his turn to be in that room. That seems like something a kid would get upset about. But yeah, so I grabbed like what was a queen size sheet so that it would cover like my entire body and did this to my brother. And he, like at one point I knew that he was scared and I knew that he was upset. But like I still kept going. Like I still grazed his feet. I still made him believe what was happening. And to know, like when I heard him I hadn't heard him tell that story in a really long time. But we were standing in the kitchen at my parents' house, and he's like, no, this house is haunted. I know it's haunted because of what happened. And he like repeats this story, and I'm like, dude, that was me. Like, it's not real. It was me. And he's like, what? And I'm like, no, seriously. Like, it was me.
I think I was there.
You were there. You were standing right next to him.
I was there whenever she came clean to him, and it was like, oh shit, there we go.
But I feel bad because I feel like I took like an experience away from him. Like that experience was just a prank. And
I don't think you took it away from him though. I think you just altered. You changed it from like a frightening spiritual experience to like an I got pranked thing. It's still an experience.
But the whole time that he lived at this house, like for the rest of like college and everything, he probably thought that the house was haunted.
Did he continue staying in that room, or has he always stayed in different rooms now?
I don't remember how much longer he stayed in that room, but I know that he was scared because I did send him this story and I'm like, hey, remind me if I'm missing anything. And he was like, no, I was screaming for mom, like running up the stairs, and like dad intercepted and told me that I must have been dreaming and mom was asleep and not to wake her up with this crap.
And now as a parent, you have to be like, man, if one of our kids came to us like this, you'd be like, I'd
be like, oh my God, there's a ghost. Just to find out it was actually just Caden Thunder. His awkward ghost might be realistic.
Oh my gosh. It is so freaking funny though.
So there was like, this just sums up me as a child. My dad had these mustache scissors and they were like,
the sacred mustache scissors.
Do not touch the scissors.
Right.
Like they're off limits. So because they were off limits, I was like,
because he was an army guy.
Yeah.
It was the mustache, sacred
he was
mustache
very,
scissors. Yeah.
Yes. Like you don't touch them. My mom was like, do not touch these because they can't be dull. They have to be sharp. And I get that now because if you cut shit with scissors, like it does dull them.
Right.
But I had to touch these scissors and I couldn't do it whenever, like I couldn't bring them out of the bathroom. It had to happen in the bathroom. So my brother was outside the door saying he had to go to the bathroom, but I was like, I'm holding these scissors that I'm not allowed to use. And why I didn't think it was a good idea to cut like toilet paper or something, I cut the shower curtain. Like I snipped the shower curtain with my dad's mustache scissors. And my brother's outside. He has to go to the bathroom. He can't get in. And I'm in here just whatever. I'm not even going to the bathroom at this point. I'm just clogging it up so that no one else can use it.
So poor Ryan's outside the door prairie dogging.
literally
cutting up a shower curtain.
Yes.
Can you imagine what we would do if our kids did that? Like
they would be in so much trouble.
They would be in deep shit.
But
it would be a come to Jesus.
This is why I say that Ava will grow out of it, because I feel like there was a turning point for me where I was like, don't be a shithead. Like, maybe.
So there's prankster shithead, like a mischievous shithead, and then there's just like teenage attitude shithead. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and we're in the teenage attitude shithead phase right now.
And I was getting into that phase like when this happened, but
I'm so glad that we didn't meet back then, or like whenever we worked together at Outback 10 years before we ever started dating. I'm so glad that if you were still in your teenage shithead phase, that we didn't spend time together.
But like any teacher,
any teacher,
any teenager, you're only a shithead like in the walls of your home. That's how it works for us, anyways. When they go out into the world, they're polite. Good. We know that they are because their teachers like them. Their teachers like they have relationships with teachers. Like I feel like when you make that connection, you're not a shithead. And I feel like our kids are only shitheads at home.
Only to us,
which is normal because they feel comfortable. So they just let the walls down.
Thank you for showing me that side of you.
That's what we get. We get the real side. Everyone else gets the public side. With Navy, that's not the case.
Super thankful. Also, in this story, before we move on to our next story, I think it's hilarious that, the 12-year-old version of you in 1998, when you thought ghost, you thought of like the Scooby-Doo version of a ghost. You're like, let me grab a white sheet.
Well, I wanted something that would show, like, because it was so dark in that room, I needed something that would like show up in the white, like against the dark. I thought would make it look scary, and apparently it did because he believed it. And I feel
for a long time. We haven't done anything like that to our kids. I think the closest that we came to was probably at Target.
That when
the kids were little. They were little. Like
we may have to find that video and add it to the podcast.
How old were they?
Like 5 and 6.
5, 6.
Yeah.
So I found like a gorilla mask and hands at Target, and there's probably security footage from Target somewhere that somebody held onto because it's freaking hilarious.
We have some kind of camera footage.
We recreated some of it at home later on, but I think that was like the next year or 2 years later or something. Right. But I slipped on this gorilla mask and put the hands on, and then Candy Thunder and the kids were like looking at something in an aisle, and I crept around the back of a different aisle and had that on and like crept around and scared the living shit out of Ava.
Yeah.
Like scream, like blood curdling scream scared. And of course, we were all laughing. She did not think it was funny at all. And then we bought
the mask,
and the hands. And like a couple of years later, I was messing with her at the front door and scared her again. She pretty much reacted the same. Wasn't a fan.
She was easy to scare. Kieran and Brady were more like run away, don't look back, kind of scared.
They're like internalize their fear and just run.
But it was like the like when it was like a black swan or the black goose that bit Ava, and Kieran and Brady just took off running. Yes, that one that she was feeding the ducks or something in this black. It was a swan or a goose. I don't remember what it was, but it was mean.
Goose. Yeah, it was a goose.
But it came up. It came up and like she was feeding the ducks and it wanted the food and like she wasn't giving it out fast enough or something. But it came and it bit her on the back of the calf. It bit her on the back of the thigh. Then it bit her butt. As she was trying
to climb up the picnic table that was sitting there, it bit her on the thigh and the butt. Yeah. And then while that's happening, Kieran and Brady, again, little kids, blood curdling screams, start taking off running, trying to run across a road.
They did run across the road. They ran across the road to the other side of the Tahoe and were hiding on the other side of the Tahoe.
It's like the most dangerous thing. They're like, no, we'll take on oncoming traffic before we have to face that goose.
Luckily, it was like a side road around
and there was nobody
lake.
Around. Oh, there was an ass chewing there, though. It's like, you never, ever, ever run into a road. Oh, my gosh.
But Ava was like scaling a picnic table. Kieran and Brady were running across the road, and we were like, torn in different directions, but laughing our asses off.
Did you say porn?
I didn't mean to say porn. Torn in different directions.
It was very much a cats in a wheelbarrow kind of moment.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, what is happening?
And I'm like trying to console Ava while laughing my ass off because it wasn't. It's funny now, but in the moment she was.
It was funny and terrifying at the same time, just because of the reaction that it was a mess. It was a freaking mess.
That is one of my favorite memories.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move into our first official story here from someone that's not us. All right, this story is from the AITA subreddit, and it is titled, "Will I be the astronaut if I didn't get a mole removed for my friend's wedding?"
Immediately, no. Just no.
What?
No, you shouldn't have to remove.
Am I the asshole for not getting aesthetic surgery to be in my friend's wedding? No. This sounds like a shitty friend already.
Right.
I hope it clarifies. Hi, everyone. I'm writing to all of you because I've been going back and forth on this issue and I feel conflicted. My 24 friend, Zoe, 25 female, is getting married and I am said to be a bridesmaid in her wedding, which is early next year. I'm excited for the wedding and I'm doing everything I can to help her out with planning and setting up. Recently, Zoe asked me out for coffee away from the other bridesmaids. And she said that she wanted to talk to me about something privately. I agreed and asked her if something was wrong. She said it was nothing huge, and she just wanted to talk to me. I met up with Zoe the other day, like she asked. It was there that she told me she wanted me to get the mole on my face removed before the wedding. I have a mole on my right cheek, kind of near my nose. It's not huge, but it's definitely noticeable. Zoe explained that she wanted everyone to look good in the wedding photos, as well as on the wedding day, understandable, and that the mole on my face would be a distraction and that it wouldn't look good in the photos. She said that she would pay for the surgery out of pocket as she could afford it, and all I would have to do is go and get it removed. I told her that I needed time to think about it. She said she understood, but let me know that it would be mandatory for me to have the procedure in order to be a bridesmaid. I said that I would get back to her. I'm really conflicted on this because I have had times where I've been insecure about my mole, and Zoe wasn't lying when she said that it distracts from my face. So if she was asking me to remove it, it may be better in the long run, and she's paying for it. However, I really don't know if I want such a procedure done to my face, which is why I'm thinking about not going through with it. But Zoe is my friend, and more importantly, she's the bride, and I want her to have the best day, which is why I may be the asshole if I didn't go through with it. Would I be wrong if I didn't get the mole removed on my face?
I can't imagine asking someone out for coffee and then being like, by the way, I'm going to need you to change your appearance in order to be in my wedding.
No, this is a shitty person.
You don't have to, but it's mandatory.
Yeah, you don't have to unless you want to be a bridesmaid.
Right.
And then you do have to. It doesn't matter, OP, if you have wanted to have this mole removed, if you've been thinking about it your whole life, it does not matter. the thing that matters here is that your friend wants you to get it removed for her own selfish purposes, and that's all you need to know. That is a shit person. That is not a friend. Now you could let her pay for it if you always wanted it to be done.
That's what my I want to be petty because I want you to, if you want the mole removed, get it removed. Let her pay for it.
And
let it happen.
Don't be a bridesmaid.
And then don't be a bridesmaid in this wedding. Walk the F away. Get your mole removed if that's what you want. If you don't want it removed, then don't do it and don't be in the wedding.
Yes.
But if you want it removed, use her funds, let her pay for it, and then walk the away.
There you go.
That's all you got to do.
And then you can just tell her that you getting your mole removed was your wedding gift to her.
Yeah. It was your parting gift for your friendship because this girl, Zoe, you're an asshole. You do not deserve to have OP in your wedding.
When they remove it, ask if you can keep it. Give it to her as the gift. Like, wrap it up. Wrap it up and give it to her as a gift. And then on the card, be like, best wishes on your moly matrimony.
Warmest regards.
Best wishes, warmest regards.
Holy, what did you?
Moly matrimony.
Moly matrimony. I'm just thinking of Austin Powers, and they're like, moly, 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 moly.
Oh man, no, this is terrible. The fact that this is not a friend. This is not a friend. Mm-mm. This is like a frenemy, maybe.
Why? I mean, Zoe's got some balls for asking someone out to coffee and asking them to alter their appearance. That just blows my mind.
In pictures, Zoe could ask the photographer to Photoshop that shit out and get OP's permission.
Right.
That at max would be like, hey, do you mind if we do this? But even then, I'd be like, you're an asshole for asking.
She said.
But the fact that no, this is terrible.
She said, Zoe wasn't lying when she said that it distracts from my face, but I thought she said it wasn't really that big.
She did say that.
And I mean, I grew up like the Cindy Crawford era where the mole on Cindy Crawford's face was like the mark of beauty. It was
a beauty mark, yeah.
Yeah. And so I always find, and I know people with that probably feel differently about it, but I always thought that was a mark of beauty. Like that was pretty. That was something unique about yourself. But I understand as far as like having to look in the mirror every day and seeing something that maybe you don't like and wanting to change that. I mean, I get that, but
it's got to be OP's choice. And you know, I kind of backtrack on thinking that she should do it and let Zoe pay for it now, because when she looks in the mirror for the rest of her life and doesn't see that mole, she's going to see this memory.
Yep.
It's like, it's going to be an emotional scar.
Right.
Left on your face forever. And I don't think that's worth it.
Or it's a scar that says that I stood up for myself, got something taken care of that I wanted taken care of anyways. And this friend who wasn't actually a friend revealed herself, and now I'm a better person for it. If you look at it like glass half full, I don't know. But she's always going to have a memory attached to where that scar was. I mean, where the mole was. Yeah, for sure. If anything, OP, we're of the opinion that you should surgically remove both the mole and Zoe. Right.
If you choose to, but it has to be something you want to do. If it's something you've always wanted to do and you're ready for that, then great. If you're not ready for that yourself, to do this for you, not for Zoe, you have to do this for you. It can't be for someone else. It doesn't even matter if it's a shithead friend who's asking you to do it for her wedding, which, by the way, is a shithead friend.
Yeah, Zoe is ascon one. All the way.
It wouldn't matter if it was your significant other. It wouldn't matter if it was your mother. It wouldn't matter who it was. Someone else asking you to do it is them being a shithead. You have to decide this for you, if and only if and when you are ready.
Right.
That's it.
100% agree. OP would not be the asshole. 100%.
NTA.
Zoe, enjoy your trip. Your honeymoon is going to be happening at ascon 1.
Your honey mole.
That's just a bitchy thing to do.
This is shitty.
It's so shitty.
It's just like, oh, it's nothing big that I want to talk to you about. It's just cutting off part of your face.
Yeah. And knowing that means that Zoe looks at her and only sees that if she thinks it's a big enough deal to get it removed.
And I'm guessing, well, I don't know how close they were as friends, but if Zoe was a real friend at some point, she would be aware of the insecurities attached to that for OP as well. Yeah. And to not even like to not even segue into it, to not even tiptoe into it, to just be like, it's not a big deal.
Right.
But I need you to cut off part of your face to be on my wedding. You, Zoe. Okay, you want to dive to the next one?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Okay, our next story is from Relationship Advice, and it is, I, female 34, feel like my husband, male 36, is trying to upstage me. How do I not feel better? How do I not feel bitter about this?
That's a big difference there.
Yes. 8 years ago, we had our first child. We weren't in a position where we could afford any childcare, so I dropped to part-time while he kept his full-time job. For those 3 years, I was absolutely miserable. I was lucky that my mother-in-law was there to help out the first year. I appreciated her help. But after she moved, it was just me till 5 p.m. All things considered, she wasn't too fussy, but cooking, cleaning, and taking care of my daughter was just exhausting. Once he got home, he was happy to help, and he did the night routines. He took care of her all of Saturdays, but I still did most of the night wake-ups. I got back to work once we got her in preschool, and the weight off my shoulders felt fantastic. 3 years back, we decided we wanted to try for another. By this time, I'd been promoted and was making more than our incomes. We could easily afford childcare with this, but my husband decided he wanted to play stay-at-home mom this time. I could afford it, we talked about it, and it made sense at the time. It was petty of me, but I did kind of want him to have a taste of what I went through. He's done awesome, to the point where I feel like he's trying to spite me. After I was done with maternity leave, it was just him with our son. Ever since, it's like he's been trying to be better than I was. I cooked a good deal of boxed stuff, and this man wants to spend his time making me things like a quiche and texting me recipes he wants to try out. I cleaned, but it never occurred to me to dust the ceiling fans and shelves every single month. That's fine, but it's another thing to be extra. The school bus has worked fine up until now, but he's decided that he'd rather do pickups and drop-offs himself. I don't think it's nitpicky to just do what's been working. I feel like he's making this a contest I can't win because I'm trying to support us. I had to ask to be included in the bedtime routine with my daughter's just so quiet now when I'm doing it, when she's all giggles with him. I know he thinks it's hard. I read his Discord messages and he vents about things to his friends. But when I get home, all smiles, happy family. Here's a ravioli that could have been store-bought. It's dishonest. Today was the kicker. It's my birthday, and I heard a grand total of nothing. He left a note on the counter that he took the kids to Sweet Frog so I can have the house to myself, and that to be ready by 7. I feel like he's trying to prove something, like there's a trophy while I'm busting my butt giving us an income. Since he hasn't really done anything wrong, I feel like I'm not allowed to be mad at him, but that's not fair. It sucked for me, and he's just parading around like he can do no wrong in this, and that he's just full of sparkles and sunshine. I'm not sure how to move past these feelings, and I don't even know if I should. Top comments here. This is a you problem. Talk to a therapist. You're mad because he enjoys and is good at something you didn't enjoy and weren't good at. He's not doing anything wrong. Is it as simple as that?
The whole time that you were reading, I was like, this is her problem. This is her problem. It's not her husband's problem. I hate that she said he wanted to play stay-at-home mom. No, he's a stay-at-home dad. Because there are two parents, a mom and a dad. Right. And he is a stay-at-home dad. And I don't understand why. Okay, here's one thing. One, the first year after you have a baby for a woman is different than it is for a man, because it's a lot harder to get back to yourself before pregnancy.
Biologically.
So let's recognize that.
And emotionally. Yeah.
Yes. You're all over the place. It's hard. You're exhausted. Like everything feels heavy. And it does take that full year to become who you were pre-pregnancy, if you ever even get back to that same person. But she stayed home for 3 years and hated it. So why? It's like because she hated it, she wanted him to hate it too. She wants her husband to be miserable. That does not make sense to me.
It is clearly her problem. I feel like we can understand where she's coming from, right? You can see that if something was really hard for you, seeing your partner not struggle with it,
right,
would sting a little bit, right? But what do you do with that? And again, you can't be an asshole for feeling something. It's what do you do with it? And for her, it's like she's resenting him for
sure.
it.
Yes,
and
but I honestly
that's
feel
not fair.
I feel like she feels because society says that moms are supposed to be this amazing motherly figure, and dads are supposed to bring the income. Dads are supposed to work. Like
you feel like
that's the tradition. That's what we're raised to believe. And that is changing nowadays. But I think she feels like she's supposed to live up to this expectation that she did not live up to.
So she's got some guilt that she's projecting
sure.
upon him and resenting him because she didn't fulfill her societal role.
Yes.
And because he's
doing, I mean, they're doing it differently, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. And she needs to stop thinking about what it should look like and think about what it does look like.
Yeah.
She has a man at home that's taking care of her kids, that enjoys being there,
right?
That enjoys cooking. Oh my God, if I went to work and you enjoyed, I don't think you would enjoy staying home every day. I just don't. I don't enjoy staying home every day. I love the fact that I get to come to the office 3 days a week. Like that means something to me. Right. It breaks up the monotony of being a stay-at-home parent. And it is hard. I stayed home the whole first year with Ava. It was a little over a year, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't love it the way that I thought I was supposed to love it.
Did you feel guilty for not loving it?
For sure. Yeah, 100%. I didn't. And I feel guilty now when I go to work and I, take Navy to Kids Stay Out. But the growth that she's made in the program that she's in is all that I need to see to know that what I'm doing is good for me and what I'm doing is good for her.
Well, and I think as a parent, by the same stroke, when you are home with them, like if you find yourself disgruntled or discouraged in any way, like you feel guilt then too, right?
For sure.
It's like there's no winning here. It's a Kobayashi Maru. It's tough as shit. No matter what you do, you're going to feel some level of guilt, no matter which direction you take here. It is tough as hell. But resenting your partner because of this, because of something that you feel about yourself, sucks. Like it'd be interesting if she came clean to him and said like, this is how I feel, and didn't accuse him of anything, but just said like, I don't know what to do with these feelings. This is just how I feel. It'd be interesting to see how he responded to that. And if he was like, hey, look, I get it. This is tough as shit. I'm struggling, but I am, when you walk in the door, like putting on the happy face, trying to make sure dinner's ready, trying to make sure that the kids are happy. And like, I'm doing 150%, not for me, for you. So that you don't have more things to struggle with when you walk in the door, so that you don't have more to deal with. Like what would that change about her perception of this whole thing?
I think,
would it change anything?
When you were saying that, I was thinking they're not communicating because she said, I've seen his Discord messages about him venting. And I know that he finds it difficult, but he's not telling her that he finds it difficult. So it's almost like this problem could be solved if she spoke up about how she actually feels and he spoke up about how he actually feels, and they don't have to be miserable.
No.
She has to recognize that she is better suited to provide for the family financially, and he's better suited to provide for the family in the way that's raising the kids.
Yeah.
But
they have to do that she's going to have to be careful for sure to do that in a non-accusatory, non-projective way, because right now, everything she's feeling, she's projecting onto him 100%.
She's so bitter that she's bitching that he's making homemade meals.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you were at home making homemade meals and I came home to homemade ravioli, I would not be bitching. I would be like, I would just be eating it up. If I came home on my birthday and the house was quiet, I would lay on the couch and just lay there and enjoy the peace and quiet.
That's the best gift you could get.
I would not be bitching about it. But she feels so much guilt because she cannot do it all. She can't provide for the family full time, work this job, and then come home and be the 100% there. And we say that about guys too, that spend all day at work and then come home. But you have to make an effort to be included in the bedtime routine. You have to make an effort to be there for your family in some way.
Are we talking about OP and her partner right now?
Yes.
Are we talking about putting the kids to bed? Which bedtime routine are we talking about?
I don't understand the question.
Sorry, I was trying to be a teenage boy with it, and it went.
You see what I live with?
I'm sorry. I heard bedtime routine, and I went for it. Yeah, but the point you're making here is you make the most with what you have, right?
Right.
And instead of being bitter and saying, I had to ask to be included in this. No, you didn't. Just do it. Just insert yourself in the things that you want to be included in, and understand that as a parent that you're going to feel a certain level of guilt no matter what you do, because you can't do everything. Yeah. Like Candy Thunder saying, you can't do everything. You just can't. Like, I mean, coming back to work sooner than anticipated after Navy Thunder was born was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do, because it was unplanned. Changes in our business forced me to come back to work. And then like overnight, I lost being able to stay home and be a part of those first couple of months, and was just thrown 100% back into the mix here. And it was very painful.
It was
and
brutal.
I still have guilt for that.
Yeah.
Like it was a super emotional time, and still have guilt for it. I still have guilt for, like yesterday I stayed home with Navy by choice all day, and I did that for both of us. And I tried to make it an eventful day. We went and picked up pumpkins, and we went and saw the giant inflatable dragon at Sam's and made a Target run. But no matter what, you're not going to be able to just provide the sparkles and sunshine that OP feels like her husband is sprinkling through the air all the time right now, or a comparative thing.
Right.
She's comparing it to what she went through, and it's not fair. It's apples to oranges.
So I feel like...
Not that fruit can't be compared.
She has these... I feel like those intrusive thoughts happen when you have this expectation of reality, and your actual reality is not living up to that expectation. Yeah. So you've created what you think should exist, and then here's the world over here. And so she thinks that his world should suck, that he should be overworked and tired and exhausted and pissed off whenever she gets home. But they're different people. I mean,
why would you want it to be that way? I don't know.
I don't, and that's the part that she has to figure out on her own. And I don't know if that's just communicating with him or communicating to him via therapy to have a neutral party.
Yeah. That may be a really good, and that may be needed, because I feel like her being able to express her feelings, and maybe to some degree him as well, without being accusatory, would be really difficult.
I would like to know, it doesn't really say how old the son is, like how long dad has been staying home. She said after she had maternity leave, she went back to work.
Right.
And so if she's still within that first year, I mean, there could be a reason that she's having these intrusive thoughts, and
that's true.
Something that she needs to address as soon as possible.
That's very true.
Because that's something like this. Like what have we said before? Like you're bitter, you're angry, you're frustrated, and then you resent somebody.
Right.
And then you're indifferent. And when you reach indifference, you're done. You cannot come back from that. Like that's when you fall out of love.
She's in resentment right now.
Yeah, she resents the hell out of this situation.
So she's one step away from their relationship being destroyed, because she's one step from indifference.
Because she thinks this world should exist over here, but this is the real world. I said it. I did it. There's my R.
It is the real world.
Yeah, she can't. And that sucks for her.
Yeah.
And I hope she figures it out, because what she has, if this goes down the path that we've seen stories like this go down, it ends in divorce. And she's going to realize after that divorce that what she had was amazing.
Yeah.
And she's not going to realize it until it's gone.
And
water your damn grass.
Water your grass. And her question is, how do I not feel bitter about this? And what Candy Thunder just said, water your own grass. But I think it takes that analysis of why is this the pedestal that I'm putting things on and comparing things against, and why is my expectation for him to be miserable, and why do I want that? And at some point, somehow you've got to explain your feelings to him and ask him to explain his feelings to you, so that you can be all out in the open, and you've got to start communicating those things. We probably over-explain feelings.
Yes.
And I feel like it's a good thing. We probably do dump too much on each other, but I would rather it be that way than not know what's going on. I
overshare.
Me too.
I'm an oversharer.
Maybe not feelings, but I think I do. I think I've probably grown a lot in that area for explaining how I feel and my frustrations to you. And that's a tough thing to put on your partner.
And I think we kind of had to. And I think it changed after Navy was born, because I had struggles like with intrusive thoughts after Navy was born, postpartum. Like that was to recognize that those were happening and not act on those thoughts. Knowing that I had I had tools in the toolbox to know how to handle that situation. But we had to learn how to communicate so that I didn't have those thoughts, so that I didn't have those feelings where I felt like you didn't love me or you resented me or you were unhappy or all of these things. And so she just doesn't have the tools to handle this situation, and she needs to find a way to get the tools. And I do feel sorry for her.
Me too.
She's not on the ascon scale.
No, and it's not an AITA story, but at the same time, it's like you
got to figure it out.
You're one step away from your relationship or your love being destroyed.
And I guarantee that this guy cannot be happy all the time, but he's probably trying to do things to make his wife happy because he feels that she's unhappy. And he doesn't know what's wrong. In
doing so is just pissing her off.
Right.
Worse.
And that's just a classic, like, not communicating directly about how you feel.
His next Discord message is going to be, dudes, I'm experiencing a real life Kobayashi Maru right here.
I made her homemade ravioli. I pressed the edges together and she's still pissed off at me, and I don't know why.
The more I do, the more pissed off she gets. Like, what do I do?
That's sad.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't make homemade ravioli for you. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
You grill an amazing steak, though.
I do.
That's what you've got going for you.
Notice how she said steak, because when it comes to burgers, she prefers my dad's.
Your dad makes a great burger.
This is what I'm saying. He does. And I've even created like my own versions of it. It's just not the same.
I like the burgers that are like really thin. And your dad is like, I don't know. I just like your dad's
He's got
burgers.
a good process.
Yeah.
He does have a good process.
We haven't had those in a long time.
Well, I know. Maybe we have a birthday party coming up. Maybe we could ask.
What? I'm not going to ask your dad to make burgers.
I'll make my version of my dad's burgers so you can be like, it's just not the same. I'd like to go with more of the gourmet route. I like a juicier.
Yeah. A thicker burger.
A thicker, juicier. Yes.
And I'm more like the thin frozen patties, lightly seasoned.
Well done. Yes.
Yeah. I just like them. I don't know why. When it comes to like a homemade burger, if I'm out and about and there's going to be a ton of toppings, then I'm fine with whatever. So.
Okay, our next story is a long one. It's from Best of Redditor Updates, and it is titled, Am I Wrong for Telling My 14 Female Daughter the Truth About Her Aunt? Plus updates. Originally posted September 2nd, 2023. Sorry, this is long, but the background is important. Okay, so 23 years ago, last month, my youngest sister, Anna, moved in with her third college roommate in as many years. For context, both my middle sister, Cora, and I had the same roommate all 4 years of college. The new roomie, Bree, was cute, smart as hell, and new to dorm life. Bree's brother, Ed, moved her in, and I moved Anna in. I was 27, male at the time. Anna and Bree were 20, and Ed was 22. Anna and Ed really hit it off, and Ed asked Anna to dinner that night. Jokingly, I asked Bree out as well. Anna thought I was being serious and basically pushed Bree and I out the door. Ed and Anna never left the room. Bree and I went out for dinner, and when I say fell in love, I'm not kidding you, I was done for. I ordered dessert just to keep the conversation going. I said dessert. I ordered dessert. I lived only 20 minutes from their campus in a house I had bought myself. I asked Bree if she would like to come over, and for the first time in my adult life, I was turned down by a chick. But turned down or not, I was hooked and started asking Bree out regularly. Ed was a grad student on campus, and he and Anna also kept dating. The girls were in their junior year, but since they were both dating the other's brother, they lived together for their senior year too. Bree and I got engaged that October, and that is when Anna's switch flipped. Ed was still in grad school, and Anna was going to have at least one more semester of college before she had changed her major so much. They were in no position to get engaged. Anna was a constant pain in the behind during the wedding planning. She tried to cancel vendors, change orders, and even attempted to destroy Bree's dress. Ed threatened to break up with her if she didn't stop. She eventually stopped, but on the day of the wedding, she tried to spill something, still don't know what, on Bree's dress, but got it on her own instead. She ended up missing the whole wedding. At the reception, my sister Cora and Bree's brother, Dean, older than Ed and Bree, got engaged. All planned by Dean and Bree since both families were going to be there. Anna again had a fit, but calmed down at the thought of getting engaged at Cora's wedding. Ed didn't want to ruin the day anymore, so he kept quiet. Later, after Bree and I were gone, Ed caught Anna in a closet with a family friend doing the nasty. What is wrong with this girl? Jesus.
I don't know, but
Ed, of course, broke up with her. Anna threw a fit, destroyed the venue, and ruined Cora and Dean's engagement party that took place after we left for our honeymoon. For 10 years, Anna was in our lives with a cycle of men that she would cheat on, rotating jobs, and having total meltdowns, making our lives miserable. It all ended when she was arrested for fraud and spent the last 13 years out of our lives. Now she's back. My and Bree's youngest asked me why Aunt Anna and I don't get along. Anna had told her some lies, and my daughter was confused because one involved Uncle Ed cheating on Anna. I sat down and told my 14-year-old the story I typed here. My wife thinks she is too young to be told all of this. Am I wrong? Edit to add, when Anna got out of prison, she showed up at family dinner uninvited and seemed to get all the kids, mine and Cora's, into conversations. Since all the kids share uncles, the eldest called BS early. It's our 14-year-old who questioned me. All of Cora's kids called BS. Anna isn't supposed to be around the kids anymore. Second edit, my wife wants me to add that her daughter's BS meter is not broken. She called BS on me when I said my wife is the first woman to turn me down. Relevant comments, questions. I hate to break it to you, but your 14-year-old is a lot smarter than you and your wife give her credit for. Telling the truth is always the best, and it lets her know not to go anywhere near Anna. I see a restraining order in your future. Original OP's reply, we had 1 year ago, but it has expired. I filed for one a week ago and hope to have it approved after the long weekend. I agree she is a lot smarter than my wife gives her credit for. I feel she could handle all of the truth, but my wife cut me off. I had so much more to tell her. I think the fact that she is my wife's last baby makes Bree a lot more protective of her. Questions. Okay, I think we need a link chart for this. So 3 siblings, Anna, Cora, and OP, all dated 3 siblings, Ed, Dean, and Bree. Cora and Dean and OP and Bree got married. Cora and Dean got engaged at OP and Bree's reception, which also became Cora and Dean's engagement party. Anna cheated, and she and Ed broke up. Anna became a criminal, absent from the family, now back. Original OP's reply, Ed married a wonderful woman. We love her. If Anna is married or dating, I honestly don't know. I literally saw her for the first time in 13 years a little over a week ago. After we left our reception, everyone stayed to celebrate the engagement until Anna vandalized the place. We did redo the engagement party later. Okay, there's more, but let's chat about this for a second. Because Anna sounds like a peach.
Anna be crazy.
Yeah, Anna sounds like a peach.
She sounds like a narcissist who believes that she's entitled to whatever anyone else has.
Yeah.
And so
those people typically don't fare well in life.
No. I mean, the thing he said in the first paragraph that she had been at college for 3 years and had that many roommates. So she had to get a new roommate every year, probably because she was, I'm guessing, stealing and being shitty to the other person.
She had burned them.
Yes. And so they would not be her roommate again. So she got placed with someone else, and then she got placed with Bree.
She was only with Bree 2 years because she was dating their brothers.
Mm-hmm. And I think that Bree allowed her brother and sister-in-law to get engaged at her wedding. So I do think that speaks volumes about the kind of person that Bree is. Because if you're going to invite someone to get engaged at your wedding,
yeah,
I feel like
we've
you're
heard
pretty
stories
selfless.
about people having big issues with that.
Yes.
So she approved it ahead of time and was
part of it. Yeah, because she
encouraged it.
Yeah. So I do think that it says something to the person that OP is married to. So yeah,
Anna sounds like a shit show, and it didn't start with Ed, right? She was a shit show.
No, I
before
guarantee
this.
it started when she was like she's like she was just born that way. I guarantee it. I don't think that. It probably happened her entire childhood.
So more likely a psychopath than a sociopath?
Yeah, I would probably say yes.
Okay.
Because, I mean, OP, who is her brother, and Cora, who is her sister, I feel like unless there's something that happened that we get into later that triggered this, I feel like, yes, Anna was probably born this way.
And to get out of prison and immediately show up and start trying to turn the children against everyone.
That's just, like you said, that's psychopathic tendencies to live in that your own place, like that the world revolves around you.
You know, she spent those 13 years in there trying to figure out how she was going to turn everyone's world upside down.
She can do no wrong.
Got out and just started doing it. She's like, I'm going to start with the kids.
Yeah, I guarantee you, whatever fraud and stuff that she went to prison for, was not her fault.
Right.
Like she wouldn't take any responsibility for her actions because she didn't do anything wrong.
Well, she got busted doing the nasty and cheating on Ed at the wedding reception / engagement party. And when she got busted,
she vandalized the place because she didn't do anything wrong.
Because she got busted.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, I'm sure people in comments will let us know like what kind of, what this disorder is called.
Right.
We're going to go with psychopath because
that's what makes sense right now.
She has no remorse and she can do no wrong. And the world revolves around her. So she's got some stuff going on.
I can't imagine what updates are entailed with this, right? Like I'm like, oh my gosh, it has to get much worse before it gets better. It has to.
Well, yeah, it's a best of Redditor update.
Okay, here we go. Update, September 5th, 2023, 3 days later. It happened today, and I'm not sorry. The restraining order was denied because the judge is a softie. We filed an appeal before leaving. While we were filing the appeal, Anna rushed to the school and tried to pull my teenager out early. My daughter was at lunch with friends in the outside eating area. It's gated, but the video shows Anna walking up to the gate, speaking to my daughter, and then walking to the office. Now, I'm very glad I told the truth, and my wife is as well. Our daughter pretended to gather her things and walk to the office to meet Anna, but instead told a teacher her aunt is crazy and trying to kidnap her. The police were called and Anna was arrested, and I bet we get our restraining order tomorrow. Holy shit. The school acted quickly and perfectly, keeping my daughter and the rest of the students safe. I'm grateful I talked to my daughter when I did. My daughter is safe. Anna is back behind bars. I thought today was going to be bad, but it turned out okay. Thank you to this community for listening. This has been good for me. Edit to add the last 3 hours. I'm shaken, and so is all of our family. I just calmed down enough to post. Almost as soon as I hit post, there was a knock at my door, and it was the sheriff. For background, we know him. Dean, Ed, and Bree were raised by their grandfather, the former sheriff, and the current sheriff has known them his entire career. The family had gathered because we wanted to support each other. Anna had also attempted to remove Ed's 14-year-old daughter from school. The girls were upset, so we were all together. What the sheriff shared baffles me. Anna apparently had drugs and a weapon in the car she was driving. We don't know what she had planned or how she got the weapon that begins with a G. We all looked at the picture, and it is not one that we have ever seen. Anna will be arraigned tomorrow on charges of attempted kidnapping, possession with intent, and bringing a weapon onto school grounds. What in the actual?
Yeah, she had a pew-pew in the car.
So she was, so her plan of 13 years in prison was to definitely start with the kids and not just try to turn them against everyone, but use them against everyone.
And she got a gun from somewhere illegally because she had just gotten out of prison. She couldn't get a gun.
Jeez. Oh,
yeah.
My.
And she went to their teenager school to try to take them out. That's confirmed psychopath because...
I can't begin to tell you how shaken we are or scared I am for my children. My son is 2 hours away at college, but he is coming home to be with his sister and us. I'm very proud of my daughter. She asked if she would be allowed to speak at the arraignment, and the sheriff promised to ask. I'm not sure if it's allowed, but I'm proud that she wants to stand up for herself. We have to be at the courthouse tomorrow at 9 a.m. and wait for Anna's case to be called. They have to arraign her within 24 hours of arrest, so we know it will be before noon. Her trial took up to 2 years to be prosecuted. Her fraud trial was 3 years long, but this part is quick. They are asking for no bail as no one will take her into their homes. My mother and father are beside themselves, absolutely devastated and blaming themselves. A mark of the amazing woman Ed ended up with. She knelt in front of my parents and told them it was not their fault. Anna asked to speak to our parents, Cora and myself, but at this point we all have declined. We're too angry, too upset, and too hurt. I'll update tomorrow after the hearing. Okay, there's another update, but before then, what do you think Anna was going to say to them? She asked to talk to them. No, just let me talk to him. Just let me talk to him.
Well,
what do you think she was going to say?
You know she's not wrong. She didn't do anything wrong here.
Of course not.
And the weapon and the drugs were, just for show, just for fun.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong
there. She's going to teach the teenagers how to party, right?
Yeah. By getting them out of school when she had no permission to get them out of school. But I do think if he hadn't told the 14-year-old exactly what was going on, I don't think that she would have been released to the aunt, but she may not have understood the severity of the situation.
She wouldn't have understood the danger.
So I think it's important that he told his 14-year-old the truth. And knowing our 14-year-olds, I feel like we would tell them the truth if that was a possible issue in our life. I think at 14 that they're old enough to understand
But
some
clearly,
situations. Yeah.
OP and the family had no idea that she would do something this crazy.
No, this seems like too. I think because she knew that she didn't get what she wanted by showing up to that dinner, that it escalated her wanting to do something to hurt the people
take
that
it by force.
Yeah, that probably had a hand in putting her behind bars in her mind by not helping her do whatever it was. Like, she probably blames them for being in prison.
Okay, so she tried to take OP's daughter and tried to take Ed's daughter too.
Mm-hmm.
So like the people that had wronged her.
Yeah.
So it was the people that had wronged her, starting with, that wedding reception.
Oh, that just got even scarier because now, like, she had revenge on her mind.
She was
taking the daughter.
Revenge.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like anyway. I don't know that's the case, but it sure seems like it. Like, she wanted to get back at the people who had destroyed her life.
Right.
By taking something that was hey.
Ew. I didn't connect those dots until you said that, but yeah, that's up. That's scary. Very scary.
Final update, September 6th, 2023, 1 day later. Today, my youngest sister was arraigned for attempting to kidnap my daughter. For clarity, my daughter's name will be Gwen. For anyone following my post, I am naming people A, B, C, D, E, G. I skipped F because I'm not creative enough to get a female name my daughter won't hate me for. So, if you ever had to go to an arraignment court, what happens is everyone is let in at 8:45 a.m. and you have to wait for the case to be called. Anna's lawyer asked my parents, me, and Cora to meet with Anna as she was pleading guilty to some of the charges and would not be released today. My wife and her brothers agreed we should go and maybe get some answers. We got no answers, only rantings of how we are horrible people to keep her out of our family and that we abandoned her. We turned her niece against her and we resent the fact that she is so much better of a human being than we are. Yeah,
boom, boom, boom.
Clearly. Yeah. My mother is a mess. She hasn't been able to stop crying. We waited for a long time and Anna was the last case before the lunch break. The judge made a statement about yesterday's judge and how we should have walked out of here with an order of protection. He also said he doubted an order of protection would have helped, which is probably true. He ordered a psych eval before trial. He read a report that said she was okay for arraignment, so he proceeded. He did allow Gwen and her cousin Helen to speak. I have tried to attach a photo of what Gwen wrote, but Helen decided not to speak at the last minute. From Gwen, my name is blank. Until yesterday, school was my safe place. I never worried about anything. I am not Miss Popular, but I have good friends and my classmates are good people. Yesterday, someone who should love me, who should want to protect me, took away my safe place. I have aunts who would jump into fire to save me. Now I have one who would push me in. I only met her 10 days ago. In that short time, she has shaken my foundations. I am asking this court to make right what she stole, and please keep her away from me and my family. I'm only 14, but in the past 10 days, I feel like I have aged 20 years. I know Anna wants me to ask for mercy, but that is not safe for me to do. To say I'm proud of my little girl doesn't begin to cover it. Yes, her brother, sister, and cousins did help her, but she read this in a courtroom in front of the judge. Anna did attempt to interrupt, but was threatened with contempt.
Of course she did.
Yeah,
of course she interrupted.
She's like, wait.
Yeah, none of that's true.
Yeah. But Gwen.
We were just going to have fun with the drugs.
Anna pleaded guilty to possession charges. She fought the attempted kidnapping. Her argument is that the school would have never released the girls to her based on the school policies, and therefore she had no reasonable expectations of success. However, she was the last case on the docket by design. While one solicitor was in arraignment court, another one was with the grand jury. About 20 minutes before Anna was called, she was indicted on kidnapping charges. The judge actually smiled when he denied bail. Yes, everyone is getting therapy. It's likely 2 years before Anna's trial because of the motions of legal blah blah. So when we left the courthouse about an hour ago, this ended this crazy 10-day ride of Hurricane Anna. Thank you to everyone for your support and advice. My family and I enjoyed your comments. While we thought joining Reddit to vent about Anna would be just for fun, we should have remembered this is Anna and nothing is fun around her. She can suck the joy from every experience. More comments from original OP. My parents have always seen problems. They paid for therapy for years for Anna, had her evaluated for mental illness, punished her actions, called her out for misbehavior. The list goes on. They have never been in denial. They have always expected Anna to suffer the consequences of her actions and never once have bailed Anna out. Even when she stole a candy bar at 11, she had to confess to the store owner and pay for it from her money. My parents are not the typical boomer parents who needed the commercial reminding them they had kids. They were super involved and did everything to get Anna help early and often. Anna just never learned. She is under review by the other 2 county judges. What the sheriff told us is from what they said this morning, it looks like she looked at recent events and not the history. Recent events, screaming, lying, bitching, are not grounds for an RO. But had the judge reviewed the history, like the application for the original order of protection, correct term apparently, she would have decided differently. Basically, she had a lapse in judgment. Anna and Wedding could be a freaking novel. We were engaged for 8 months. It was a long-ass 8 months. My wife wanted a simple church wedding with 50 people, but did not get her wish. Try a church wedding with 200 people. Anna's stress seriously tested our relationship. But seeing that smile on Bree's face as she handed her bouquet to my sister Cora and then stepped away as Dean got down on one knee made me more sure than ever I had hooked the greatest. I'm the luckiest SOB on the planet. I don't deserve her. We were at the airport when her cousin called to tell us the cops were arresting Anna for assault and vandalism. I thought it was a joke, but no, Anna had done over $50,000 in damages and assaulted 2 people. Bree hung up and looked at me. First words out of her mouth. When we get home, we're throwing an engagement party like no one has ever seen, and they will be talking about it for years. Bree isn't perfect. Like tonight, she yelled at me because I forgot to take my pen out of my pocket and got ink on my clothes. Last night, she took out all the covers in the bed and snored like a foghorn. After court yesterday, she drank 4
Tennessee teas, I think, maybe.
After court yesterday, she drank 4 Tennessee teas and had to sleep it off. But she is perfect for me. She hooked me like a big mouth on a double hook the night we met. She never changed the bait, and I get caught every time.
Oh, well, at least they have a strong relationship. Like they're happy together, because to endure what they had to with Anna is just...
I like that Bree isn't perfect. Like tonight, she yelled at me because I forgot to take... Wait, no, that's something you f***ed up. That's not her being imperfect. She got mad at you because you did something stupid.
It must have got on her clothes.
What doesn't matter?
No.
It's like that. He's using that as an example of her not being perfect. I'm like, maybe that shouldn't be on the list here, bro.
We're gonna remove that.
These guys have been through hell though, and to still be what seems like, I know they're shaken, but to seem relatively unshaken is admirable. She's behind bars. She didn't get bail. She has to wait in prison for this trial to come. Yeah. And then, hopefully she's away for a long time, because if she ends up getting, if she ever gets out, she's going to have another plot cooked up. She is. Man,
I wish she could go to prison, away from where they live. I don't know how that works, but... Well,
even then, if she got released, she's going to come right back.
Yeah, that's true. Like, they would have to uproot their entire lives to get away from this
and disappear.
Girl and not tell anyone.
She'd hunt them down somehow. Yeah. So if she ever gets out, you're going to have to play this game all over again. And, your kids are going to be adults by then, and they're going to have kids, and you're just going to have to be on guard about the whole damn thing.
That's so messed up.
And in order of protection, the judge was right, isn't going to stop anything. She's not going to obey the rules. She never has. That's been her game. So,
and it sounded like the parents, it does sound like that she was born this way, that they tried to do everything they could to fix the situation, and
which makes you friggin' grateful for the kids you have, right? Like, I'm so relieved that we don't have these kinds of issues with any of our children.
I can't imagine. Yet?
Yeah, the jury's still out on Navy Thunder. We don't know. What kind.
Say that.
We don't know what kind of problems she's going to end up with.
That girl's an empath. She feels so much.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. What you were talking about the other night, Navy was climbing up on you, and Luna was trying to climb up on you at the same time, and you were trying to tell Luna to get down.
Yes.
But you said Navy instead of Luna by accident.
And I said Navy, stop. And I pushed Luna away, because Luna is a space invader.
She's an 85-pound.
Yeah. She was, and I was in the floor, and she was trying to climb on me, and I was trying to get Navy in my lap because she wanted to sit on me, and Luna was like, "Oh, I'll come."
And she's like, "Oh,
yeah, I'll sit on your lap."
Time?
Yeah. And I do cuddle with the dogs. Don't think that I just push them away, because I hardcore cuddle with. And when you try to cuddle with Luna, she rejects you. She's
Yeah,
like, you
it's
only
gotta be her idea.
You only
She's like a
cuddle.
cat.
She
She's
like
like a
cuddles
cat.
on Luna's terms. Because I'll try to lay on Luna, and she's like, no.
No,
I'm not a
I
pillow.
had my own position going on here. But Navy, whenever
Yes.
Candy Thunder accidentally said, Navy, no, get down, got all boo-boo faced and was like,
I was like, no, not you. I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. I meant Luna. And she's like, Una, up. Una.
and I have to tell this, we're going to have to bleep it out. But yesterday, I let her have a tiny little bite of an Almond Joy. And she's like, and I'm like, oh, you like coconut? And she goes, Coca,
see you next Tuesday.
Coca, see you next Tuesday. That's what she said. And I'm like, it's adorable. We need to fix that, though.
She was telling you something the other day, and you're like, she's calling me a bitch. But she's not calling me a bitch, but it's coming out as the word bitch.
I don't know what she was saying, but yeah,
it was amazing.
We're to the point now where we really have to watch our mouths around here because she is a parrot.
Yes, 100%. Imitates everything we do and says everything that we say to like repeat it back, but she's building that vocab.
Yep.
She got it.
And since she's the bebe and her next closest siblings are teenagers, now she wants to do everything that like the big kids do.
Right.
And she wants to do everything mommy and daddy are doing.
The other day she told me she needed to go to Target, and I had my purse still like on me, and she's like, I need the keys. I need to get the keys. I need to go to Target. And she was trying to get in my purse to take the keys. And I was like, Navy, stop. She's like, it's my purse. It's mine. This is mine. And I'm like, well, I almost wanted to go take her out and set her in the car and be like, what you gonna do?
Put her in her little Tykes car, hand her the keys, and be like, yeah.
You're off on a great adventure.
So I did take her to Target yesterday when I had my day off with her, and we had a couple things to pick up, but there was an All in Motion flannel shirt there that I wanted to grab because I'd seen it before and finally convinced myself to get it. So I went back and I was trying it on to figure out which size I needed to get because I've lost weight and I have to make sure. Normally it'd be like XL all day, but now I have to make sure I'm like large will fit this way, but I need to make sure the length is whatever. That part's not important for the story. Anyway, I was trying it on, and Navy Thunder was like, this is Navy's. I'm like, it's way too big for you. It's not Navy size. And she was so sad that they didn't have one in her size.
Plays him like a fiddle.
She was so sad. So we went to her section and looked at stuff and ended up coming home with like 3 different shirts and a couple pairs of leggings. And it was all mama approved stuff. Luckily, I did okay, except for I ended up getting something she already had.
That's such a dad thing.
Yep. So I was describing it to Candy Thunder on my way home, and she's like, and I'm like, oh no, what did I screw up? There was a sound of disappointment in that. Yeah.
No, it wasn't disappointment. It was just, I was like, do I tell him that she already has it, or do I just take it back and not tell him that she already has it so he can have his moment?
She told me.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it. No.
Total sidetrack on that one.
Yep. Sorry.
Anna's crazy.
Anna is crazy.
I feel bad for the rest of the family. I'm glad that she's behind bars. I hope that however long she stays behind bars, does her some good. But I don't see her changing. I see her getting out again and never getting back out.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like, what is it going to take for her to?
No, I know.
That's the scary part. But if she was behind bars for 12 years for fraud, like it was pretty serious fraud.
Right.
But now she's got attempted kidnapping. She's got possession of a weapon on school grounds. She's got
possession of drugs.
Possession of drugs with an intent to distribute because of the amount. Like she's got enough now to where she should be behind bars for a long.
She was out for 10 days, maybe longer. We don't know how long it was before she was able to get to their family.
It wasn't long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if family members have to be notified whenever someone's getting out.
I don't know
But
either.
you need to make sure that you're notified whenever she's getting out.
Right.
So you can circle the wagons and make sure everyone is on guard.
Yeah, I would be terrified if she's and what his daughter said at the arraignment hearing was like spot on. She took something from all of them. Yep. Like she made them feel unsafe, and
that was the goal.
And you can't get that back. Like once that's taken from you, I don't know how you get that back without always having that fear in the back of your mind. And I hate that she did that to kids.
I do think that that regardless of how long away she go or how long she goes away for, that getting the family involved with like some self-defense classes, coming up with plans for like if someone tries to take you or do something crazy, like everybody needs to have panic buttons and pepper spray, and like everybody needs to go through some training right now and have a plan.
So here's
just in case.
I mean, Anna would be in her 40s at this point if they've got kids that are in college. So 20 years.
Yeah.
Since their wedding, or 20 some years. She's not going to change. She's never going to change.
No. Well, she's not going to get better in prison. That's for sure.
Let's say she goes away for 20 years. She gets out at 60, 70.
My biggest fear in all of this is that because we have an overcrowded prison system, assuming this is in the United States, that she ends up getting released early and then, it does something stupid.
Right. Yeah.
I would be scared. Even while she's in prison, like this is a ghost that's going to haunt everyone in this family. It's going to be in the back of their minds all the time. It's always going to be there like a dark cloud just waiting to rain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she took it. She took their peace. And that sucks.
Are you ready for our last story?
Yes. And I made this a lighthearted WTF story.
Okay. We like to end with the lighthearted ones now. That's
I try. They're just not, they're few and far in between. So sometimes I just can't make it happen because I don't have time to find them. So.
I get it. But our first one today was also stellar.
Yeah, I kicked us off with the funny.
Yeah, that was great. We'll have to start sprinkling in some of my like public restroom stories because I have plenty of those.
Or maybe how you hid sandwiches in your closet.
I was a kid
in elementary school.
I was a kid. I don't know what I was doing.
How many were in there?
I don't know, but it stunk. It stunk.
He didn't eat his sandwiches for lunch, and so he hid them in his closet. And then his mom finally found them. But
because my room smelled like rotting meat, rotting deli meat.
I swear somebody said there were over 20 sandwiches in your closet.
I don't know, but surely not. I don't know. I don't know why. Like I have no idea. I have no answers. I have no answers.
You didn't want to hurt your mom's feelings.
Maybe. I don't know what issue I had with like eating it at school. I don't know. Maybe I was super self-conscious about eating in front of people. I wouldn't think that would be the case, but I don't know.
I went through that. Like as a girl, like on a first date when you're like 15, 16.
Like not wanting to eat in front of someone?
I'll have a milkshake, please. I'm afraid to eat anything. That didn't happen.
That wasn't how our first date was.
Oh no, I ate by then. No, I ate my beer pretzel.
Beer pretzels at Applebee's.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah. Like he either likes me for me or he doesn't like me. Because I'm hungry.
At this point in life, you take it or leave it, right? Yeah. Okay, this is from the AITA subreddit, and it is titled, "Am I the astronaut for taking potatoes off a guy's plate at a wedding?" She stole somebody's taters right there, I tell you what.
I think I read this story, but honestly, I don't remember it. But I saw the title and I was like, yeah, that works. That looks fun.
I just got back from, what if it's like super heavy now?
I hope
we'll
not.
Get into it. And
I don't remember.
Somebody ends up in prison. There's a crazy person. Yeah. $50,000 in damages.
Did we not learn our lesson on the VIP Live?
Right. So yeah. That random cold read did not work out well. Yeah. Okay. I just got back from my friend's wedding in Mexico. It was at a fancy all-inclusive. Everyone mostly did their own thing with only a few group events planned, other than the wedding and reception, obviously. One of the group activities was dinner out at one of the restaurants that required a reservation. It was beautiful, and the service was fantastic. One hiccup. The best man did not want potatoes. He wasn't allergic. Potatoes did not take out his parents in a dark alley, and he hasn't sworn to avenge them. As far as I know, anyways. I speak Spanish, and after he asked me, I asked the waiter to please not serve him potatoes. Well, you know where this is going. He was maliciously served potatoes, and he would not shut up about it. He pointed out to everyone at our table that he had been served a starchy tuber against his will. Against his will. Other tables were watching him and listening to him get upset about the potatoes. He ate the rest of his meal, but would not drop the potatoes.
He sounds like so much fun.
He does. I couldn't take it anymore. I reached over and grabbed the potatoes with my hand and put them on my plate, and then I ate them. He just sat there, stunned. Then he got up and went to his suite. He avoided me the rest of the time, but he made sure to tell everyone what an asshole I was and how unladylike my behavior was. I just wanted him to shut the up about the potatoes. My friend wants me to apologize for causing drama. What OP solved a problem for him. He's
you know what?
I can't believe there are starchy tubers on my plate here. I cannot believe it. Look how I've been wronged. And then someone takes him and he's like,
I've been wronged again.
You took my starchy tubers.
If you do not want to be treated like a kid, then don't act like a kid about potatoes on your plate. Are they hurting you? You're not allergic to them? They didn't do anything wrong. They're just sitting there. Don't eat them. Who cares?
You know what? I want to haunt this guy forever.
Dressed as a potato like Ross
how
from
many
Friends.
options you have. Yeah. Think about how many options
Spudnik.
you have. Spudnik. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's the Christmas poo. Ross is dressed like Duty. I want think about how many options you have for potatoes. You got mashed potatoes, you got French fries, you got tater tots, you got hash browns. There's all kinds of things that you could put in front of this guy and listen to how he just flips out. Who the flips out about getting a potato on their plate?
I don't know. And it's like potatoes are easy to move to the side.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like they were, if she picked them up and grabbed them, they were like cut up potatoes. It sounds like kind of like, I don't know, whatever. Potato strings.
Potatoes au gratin.
But she ate them. I love that she ate them. Like
And-
that to me just like seals the whole like.
And the fact that she
Huge.
reached over with her hands and grabbed them, it's like even better. It's like, dude, just shut the they're just potatoes.
And now he's like,
What's potatoes, precious? Potatoes.
can
boil
you-
them up, mash them, put them in a stew.
can you just imagine his face when she reached over and grabbed the potatoes off his plate? Like it had to have been like the most glorious, the most glorious feeling in the world to take those and him be like, my potatoes.
My potatoes. My potatoes.
He was done at that point.
Here's the deal. Clearly he's a drama queen, right? Like clearly he wants something to bitch about because as soon as you removed the thing that he had as ammo to bitch about, he got offended. And then you were an asshole. You could only be an asshole in this scenario by removing the problem. You could only be an asshole if you had wronged him in some way. So the way that you wronged him was removing the thing he had to bitch about because he was putting on a
Right.
huge show about it, right? He made sure to tell everybody and point it out to everybody. Look at this. They put potatoes on my plate. Don't they know who I am?
Can you, you know what? She should apologize. She should go up to him and say, I'm sorry for solving your problem.
That's right. I am so
You
sorry.
heinous asshole. That's what she should say to him.
Oh.
And then she should throw a pile of mashed potatoes at him.
I legitimately think that for the rest of this trip, it would have been hilarious if like she hid French fries and shit just in his stuff.
Hash browns for breakfast.
Find a way to like sneak some taters into his luggage so that when he goes through customs, when he gets back, they're like, "Did you bring any food with you?" And he's like, "No." And then they're like, "What are these potatoes?" And he's like, "Oh my god!"
They're the one- It would have been even better if they were the ones from dinner. She just wrapped him up in a napkin and put him in his suitcase. Oh.
She just regurgitates them
Yeah.
and puts them in a plastic bag.
So I remembered it why I picked that story. When you were reading it, it came back to me. It was the line where she said about that his parents weren't assaulted in a dark alley by potatoes.
Yeah, he's not Potato Batman. They aren't his Joker.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh my gosh, I don't understand.
I don't either. Like act like an adult. I would imagine a kid acting that way if there was a food on their plate that they didn't like, but I can't imagine an adult acting that way with the food on their plate. Like unless they were allergic to it.
How dare you serve me starch?
Yeah. Our kids are gonna start acting like that now.
With it just to call attention to themselves. Can you believe this?
Yeah.
Can you believe this? Imagine how this dick knot acts in restaurants everywhere. He's got to be just a nightmare.
He must be the brother of the story you read last week. The guy that was like in the perfect relationship, except for how she went out to restaurants and acted. Like,
And her
this must be her.
family treats it- yeah.
This has to be the
They
brother.
gotta come from the same
because they're from
family.
the
I'm sure
something's always wrong.
If it was all inclusive, he didn't have to tip, right? Or if they went out to a local restaurant where that was reservation, if he had to pay it all, bet your ass he didn't tip.
Oh, I guarantee this guy didn't tip. There was probably a gratuity on his ticket, but he probably bitched about it. He's been trained that way. I would not be in a relationship with somebody, friend, whatever, if they acted like that at a restaurant.
If they treated people like that,
it's so embarrassing. Well, and you know who they really are if they're willing to treat somebody they don't know with that much disrespect. Right. I wouldn't be friends with that person.
So the wedding hadn't happened yet at this point, but at the reception, food fight, right?
Oh, I would have put a dollop of mashed potatoes right on his plate, like right on the side.
Thunk.
It's like those a perfect spoons. Ice cream scoop with like the clicky thing.
Yeah.
Click. Right on his plate.
And, you know, spoons make great launchers for mashed potatoes. I'm just saying, just thunk.
Who doesn't like potatoes?
Well, there are plenty of people who can't do starch or just choose not to do starch.
That's true.
But I think OP said there's no allergy. There's nothing like that. He just didn't want potato. No means no. No potatoes.
I mean, you probably shouldn't have gotten the potatoes on his plate if he specifically asked for no potatoes, but shit happens.
Yeah. Is it worth...
You roll with it.
Is it worth creating a ginormous spectacle about?
I think I know the kind of person that she's describing, this guy who bitches about everything. But I can't imagine just bitching the whole night about potatoes. He probably doesn't even realize that he bitches so much. He's just one of those, like, he has to constantly talk about the problems that are bothering him, that are affecting him. And he doesn't realize how much he runs shit into the ground.
Right. Well, and then as soon as one problem was removed, he had to have another problem to take its place. So OP became that.
He's always the
victim. Can you believe this asshole did that to me?
Guy, I have someone for you to meet. She's actually in prison right now, but her name's Anna. You guys should get along just fine.
If your fuel is problems, by golly, we have a renewable resource for you.
There you go. She doesn't like potatoes.
Yeah. Good luck with all that.
Yeah. Do not apologize to this guy.
No.
You did him a favor.
Hell no. And
he was done eating. He wasn't eating anymore. She took the food off his plate and he wasn't even eating. She said he had finished everything except for the potatoes and she just took him off his plate. He was done.
How defeating to be OP and be like, I just wanted him to shut the fuck up. And in doing so, caused a whole new bitch session about something different.
And now he was going around telling everyone what an asshole she was. And they're like, no, you're the problem. It's you.
Like, yes, I'm the potato thief. That's right. It's me. I just go around stealing potatoes. That's what I do. I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be a potato thief. I really enjoy potatoes. So.
Why is homeboy such a tater hater? I've been trying to come up with something this whole time. Like Spud, it didn't work. It just didn't work for anything.
A tater hater.
Yeah. This Spud's a dud. I don't know. There's got to be more there.
I'm like, well, this tater doesn't like him, so.
That's right. He pissed this tater off. Maybe it's not that you don't like taters. Maybe it's that taters don't like you, sir.
Again.
Take that.
Slow clap.
All right. Thank you so much for jumping back in, even though we're relationshipy.
We're too coupley.
We're too coupley.
Even though we don't like.
Yeah.
We're not affectionate. Okay, let me go.
Let me go. She's not a hugger. She doesn't really enjoy hugs.
You know who else is like that? Navy Thunder. It's only every now and then is she like super affectionate.
Yeah. So if I hug Candy Thunder for more than like 4 seconds, it becomes a struggle snuggle.
It's like it makes me feel claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Ava though she's a snuggler. She likes to space invade.
Maybe a little bit of a space invader.
She likes to space invade.
I hope you guys have seen that episode of Bluey where Winton is a space invader and he's like, people keep running away from me, and Bluey's like, yes, because you stand too close. Like most people stand about this distance, not you. You get right up close. It's like, oh, is that why people keep running away from me?
Yeah, probably.
Yep. Toddler parents. Here we are. Okay. Thank you so much again for
Bluey's so good though.
For diving in.
Yeah.
Even though there were forces at play that would have kept you from doing it.
We're gonna have a trigger warning. That's trigger warning. This episode involves Candy Thunder. Move it along.
Trigger warning. These people are in a relationship.
No.
And we'll talk about relationships and family.
And I said that about you can be the juiciest peach, and there's still people that don't like peaches. But I think it goes in line with what you said, and a good way to end. But everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
Absolutely.
And you have no control over other people's opinions of you. Like you cannot control what they say or what they think about you. You can only control how you react to that situation. Right.
And for us,
and how I'm going to act is I'm going to sit right here in the seat because this is what we do.
And for us, it would be inauthentic for us to try to react differently than how we react naturally,
Right.
and how we view things based on our world experiences to this point. It would be disingenuous of us to pretend to be something that we're not. So we
Right.
won't do that. I love taters,
It's the internet.
especially this one.
I love taters too. I like a tater tot.
We have a tater tot.
I like a tater tot.
Yeah.
I like French fries. I love crinkle cut French fries.
We got to do the Forrest Gump version of it, though, right? Hot mashed potatoes, twice baked potatoes, baked potatoes rolled in rock salt where you can eat the skin as well.
I don't like those.
French fries, crinkle fries,
Ooh.
curly fries,
Sweet
seasoned
potatoes.
fries, sweet taters. No, we're just stuck on regular taters right now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Right, you're getting into a different breed of taters right now.
Do you remember the potatoes we didn't like? Oh no, those were carrots. I'm sorry. Do you remember that fancy restaurant we went to and it had like root vegetables?
Oh,
and they were so gross. We were like, we're not fancy people.
we're not.
And the steak was amazing.
We ain't
it was
bougie.
so good. But the vegetables,
It was some kind of alien object that
it looked like what you
looked like what you what?
like when you pull out of when you like pull the grass out of the ground like a weed out, and it looked like what was at the end of the weed, the root. And I was so
Like
gross.
Yeah, like a Super Mario Brothers onion.
Yeah, yes. It was not good. It was so not good. And I was like, I tried to be fancy, but I'm not fancy.
We ain't bougie. I'm sorry, we ain't bougie. We're not.
No.
I mean, as you could tell. Well, Katie
like, can I
Thunder's
get
rocking her Karma is a cat T Swift hoodie, and
Yeah, it
I'm
was my
rocking my
birthday
Chiefs
present.
gear because this all makes sense. So
Maybe not anymore.
we'll see. By the time this comes out, it
Yeah.
may have all fallen apart, or maybe have been validated. We'll see. We'll see what Mama Kelsey clarifies here.
She didn't like it.
We'll see. All right. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
That came out all scratchy.
Enjoy your taters.
Bye.
No tater left behind.
Eat your taters.